Good morning and welcome to Something Saturday. So today we are actually finally doing the Create Along that was supposed to be in April, and the reason that it's finally is because these papers, which are the Delicate Dream Specialty Designer Series papers, have been out of stock. So I've had to wait for those to come back into stock until I could actually do up all the kits. So we are also using Springtime Scenes, which, probably that's easier to see it, isn't it? Which have this stamp set and this set of dies, and they are just gorgeous. It's such a, the whole lot is so beautiful, it really is. Now, if you have purchased a kit from me, then you will have your kit, I hope by now, and you will also have this set of instructions that has been emailed out to you. I'm not putting it in your kit because we're going to be doing this together, but if you haven't bought the kit and you want this set of instructions, I'm actually going to be putting it onto my blog as a pay for it PDF. So if you want all the measurements and everything, they are going to be on that. And I am just going to pop that out of the way for a minute. Actually, no, I'm not, because it's a good job you can't see everything that's around me, trust me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off. This is card number 1. So if, as I say, you have already bought a kit, grab your kit and let's find out what is in it. So you should have all these pieces in here. So card number 1, what have I put on the back? I have written some little extra notes on my envelopes. So the white is not sticky backed. I intended to sticky back a heap of stuff, and then I completely forgot when I was making the kits up. So some of it did, some of it didn't. Now this, there we go, it goes that way around. So just make sure that it's going to be running in sequence, because that is going to sit on there and there. And in fact, let's just make sure that you have everything. So if you don't have something, please tell me. There should be a white circle. There should be a circle using the Designer Series paper like that. And it should be a pretty similar size to that white circle, to be honest. Then you should also have a gold circle. Now the gold circle should be slightly smaller, which it is. And then you should also have a white ring and I think it's called tungsten, this colour, tungsten ring. So you should have those. Then you should also have, that's interesting, you shouldn't have that. If you have one of those, it may be an extra or it may be part of another kit that accidentally went into this one. You should have your ladybug, or ladybird as I call them. You should have 3 flowers, and you should have some pieces like this which you're going to fussy cut. So hopefully, yep, they were all in the frame. Awesome. Okie dokie. So what we're going to do first of all, so you should have your card already pre-folded like that. Pretty much it's just the card and fold back the front. And we are going to go ahead and stick these 2 pieces down first. Oh. And there is a little gap all the way around it. So make sure that you allow for that gap. And I've put mine a little high, but that's fine. It'll still look okay. And then this gap. So if you have put your gap a little high on the last one, then you also want to put the next one a little higher as well. As you can see, I've got a tiny gap at the top and a slightly larger gap at the bottom, but that's okay. I will live with that. All right. So then the next thing you actually want to do is you want to attach this into the middle. And to do that, because I have forgotten to put thingo around the outside of it, and apparently my Okay, I may need to stop the video while I find... Oh, no, there it is. Found it. Yay. That's what I was looking for, because if you're going to be gluing, you really do need to use your glue mat to do this. So I'm going to be using a little bit of Tombow to do this. And with the Tombow, I find the easiest thing is make sure that all the glue is down the bottom. So give it a bit of a shake. And then if you practice a little bit, you should be able to just squeeze it gently, and it will give you little dots like this. And then you can go round and just add your little dots to the ring. We're going with ring on this because I was trying to do up my instructions, and I said to Tom, what do I call this? And he looked at it and he said, well, it's a ring, isn't it? I was like, yep, that'll be it. Okay, so try and centralize your ring onto this bottom piece. And there it is. So that's that. Then, oh, just realised I don't have any scrap paper either. Gee, I'm doing well, aren't I? All right. Let me find myself a bit of scrap paper, because this particular one, as you can see, it is not that colour. It's actually green. So what we're going to do is just grab a green, pretty much any green, although I have specifically used the one that is not here at the moment. Great. Okay, so we're going to go with garden green because the other one has disappeared. I would have used mossy meadow, but I don't honestly think it's going to make too much of a difference. And in fact, I'm just wondering whether I might mix two of my greens together, because it actually is more of a mossy meadow colour that I do want, but potentially I might be able to get a similar sort of effect by mixing this with my old olive. And I'm probably going to have very green fingers by the end of this. There we go. Sort of slightly different green to just garden green on its own when you mix a couple of colours together like that. Potentially, if you held that really still, you could get a really pretty effect on there, but I didn't, and I'm not going to. So now the gold actually does have, ironically, some sticky stuff on the back of it, and so does the tungsten piece. I just forgot to add it to this one. Go figure. So on the back of this, you may find that you have, hopefully you can see that, a little line there, which is where it sort of separates out the two parts that you can peel off the back. So we will peel those off and pop that into the bin. And then you just want to centralize this onto your white piece. Then, because I forgot to add, this is what happens when you get to sort of like do half the kit in one go, because the rest of it isn't available to order. And then just add some, again, dots of glue onto this. And we will go round and round. Oh, it's like a roundabout, isn't it? Going round and round and round. Remember, if I happen to be going too fast at any stage, you can stop the video. So I won't be offended. Okay, so then this now should sit directly on top of that. Oh, maybe I should have kept it on there. Oh, and the theory is that you won't be able to see the white cardstock underneath it, because this should fit exactly into that circle. And then this one again has, now if if for some reason you can't see a line of where it stops and begins, as it were, then just sort of dig into it with your pin tool a little bit, and you will find that you can find it. There we go. And it does go all the way round, so if you find that like a little piece has come off, that is not sufficient. You do need to take it off from all the way round. Okay, and then this should now sit around the edge of this one, so that you have that piece that looks rather beautiful like that. And then you have to decide which way up you're actually going to have it, because you know, the leaves are going in this direction, and they're going in this direction, and they're going in this direction, and it's like, oh my goodness, I don't know which way is the right way up. I am going to go with it being this way. Right, so the next thing you want to do is, because you've already stuck your circle down onto there, you can then add your circle onto here and cover this circle, this ring, not circle, ring, let's go the ring, with it. But bear in mind that you actually only want to glue it on the back of this half rather than this part, because you don't really want it sticking down onto there. So we will do that. And we are going to go approximately there. So let's just do that. And make sure of it. So I did try this video once before, and I forgot about adding the ring to it before I added this circle on top, and I did it the wrong way round, and then of course I had to remake the video. So so I now have 3 of these cards. But that's okay. Somebody will be very happy to receive this, I am sure. So there we go, and just make sure that there is no glue showing on the wrong side of this. So there isn't, so that's great. All right, then grab your little ladybird, and you're gonna, again, sorry, no no adhesive sheeting on the back of this one, and you just want to pop him together. They're so cute. And then we have these, and those pieces can come last. So these pieces here, we're just going to use a bit of the dimensionals and pop our little ladybird up on dimensionals. 1, 2, 3. And let's pop our little ladybird there. And then we have 3 flowers, which you probably won't necessarily be able to tell from this distance, but I did have them all up the right way round, which is why I've now turned them upside down. And we're just going to add little bits of glue to each of these. So that we can then pop these onto here. 1, 2, 3. So we have almost completed one card. We just now need to do a little bit of fussy cutting. Oh joys, hey. This would be even more joyful if I knew where my scissors were. I swear I had them, and now I don't have them. Oh, there they are. That's why they're hanging around behind something. So I'm sure that the people who bought kits for this will all know how to cut out. But if, and not that anyone else wouldn't know how to cut out, but when you do cut intricate things like this, you actually want to move the paper and not the scissors, because you'll find that it's so much easier. And also, you don't have to be really precise with it, because it's actually going on a white background. So, you know, there's an advantage with being on a white background, is that if you have extra white pieces, it's really not going to show that much. So we are just going to sit here and trim these. Oh. And obviously, when it comes to something like this, there's no way you're going to get it exactly right anyway, because, well, unless you are Superwoman or Superman, then chances are you are not going to want to trim right up to those teeny tiny little bits, because I can't think of another word for them. And I feel like I should be talking, but not really sure quite what to say, to be perfectly honest. Equally, I don't intend to fast forward the video at any point, because this is designed to be a create along, so potentially I don't want to be going too fast for you guys. However, as I say, if you need to, you can stop the video and restart it again. And I won't know. Just so you know, I am not going to know if you have stopped and restarted the video. Joys of a video. Right, there's that. If you are watching this video and you didn't purchase a kit, but possibly because you don't live in Australia, let me know where you're from, because actually now I'm intrigued to know where people are from. I didn't really think about it until just now, and then I was thinking about the fact that when I watch other people's videos, that generally cooking actually, they actually ask, you know, where are people from? Put in the comments where you're from. So, you know, if you are, just there you go, put in the comments where you are from. Look, we've got one little flower left to go. And if you happen to be actually, there you go. Oh, right, let's gather up my rubbish. Bin gets a workout today. All right. So then I am going to be doing it. So potentially you don't have to have it exactly as I've got mine. You may want to have yours so it comes up like that, and this piece goes over like this. And I've got a feeling that's what the other one looks like, only I don't know where I put it now. It's gone. Don't know where it's gone to, but that's fine. So potentially, yeah, you could do it so that it goes in that direction. This particular one still seems to curl around this way, so I may keep it that going in that direction. And this is where you are going to start just building it up on your card. So we will just add a little bit of glue onto there, and we're going to go there. Then we're going to have well, we need this piece to go in there, so maybe what I'll do is just add that onto there. I'm gonna twist it round like that so it sits like that, and then oopsie, I feel like I have kind of attached things behind this as I've gone along, so maybe just pop that. Oh, yikes. Okay, that's now attaching to me. That's not what I need it to do. Oh, come on. Sensible. Be sensible. Do as you are told. I got that. I might just add. Oh. So it is just a case of sort of like looking at it and going, well, I don't mind that piece if it goes about there, and move it around a wee bit. I am actually going to put this little piece up on dimensionals because I think that'll look nicer. But, you know, go with what works for your card. Those three. And I'm going to add one to the back of this one and pop that into there. And I've got two more flowers here. Whether I actually need to use them both is a different matter. But let's just pop a dimensional onto the back of each of them and see how I go. Just think they are so pretty. Oops, that did not come off there. I might actually add that one into there. There we go. Oh, and now I feel like I actually want the flower on the top. So there we go. As I say, your flower arrangement will look completely different to mine because, let's face it, no two flower arrangements are identical. And it's all right. It's okay if it looks different. All right, so that is card number 1 done and dusted. How did you go? Put a little comment into the comments. Wow, that came out well, didn't it? Put a comment into the comments and let me know how you went with it. Okay, one down. Let's pop those away. And we will move on to card number 2. We don't need the green blending brush anymore. Yeah, okay, so I still have this one hanging around and I'm wondering whether it might belong to this kit, so we shall find out what's in the kit. Card number 2. Okay, so, oh, that's right, I was going to actually show you how I did this. So, as you can see with this one, you actually have lines. Now, if you have bought the kit, you will already have one that's pre-punched for you. If you haven't bought the kit and you have these little hole punch assortment, it's a really lovely, actually really useful assortment of punches. So you get the 3 of them all together like this. So you've got one that's got a little thing like that for whatever reason, and that was really descriptive, wasn't it? For whatever reason. All right, so you should have a little piece like this that in theory should match up to one of these sides. That's looking a lot better. So there we go. It should match up. You should have a piece of ribbon, and you should also have these pieces, which I believe came out of the last card. So there you go. And look, there's another one. But at least that one actually does go with this card this time. Okay. So the way that I've done this, I've taken the hole punch that just has a straight edge like this, and I've actually put a little mark on the edge of my hole punch because I want to make sure that it's level as it goes along. And we're going to be putting it so that it comes to the edge of the cardstock and then down to where my little mark is. And we are gonna punch that one. Oop. Then you move it along and you actually have it so that it is kind of next to where this where the last one was. That hopefully this is making sense. Okay, and then you line it up with your lines on there and you punch it again, and pretty much you keep going down until you have spread lots of little pieces all over the place. So can you imagine that I did all these and how many little pieces I got while I was cutting out the kits? Okay, so we are nearly there with this one, and that's the last one on there. Okay, oh, now I'm wearing it. Okay, so that's your first line. Then the second line comes along and it is kind of at the halfway point. So this time you're going to push it all the way in and you go to the halfway point of the one that's underneath it, if that makes sense. Yeah, once I'm there, I'm there. Okay, and then it's kind of the halfway point between them all. And as you can see, it sort of just goes to the edge there as well. And oh my goodness, I am getting scattered with these pieces now. Come on. And the halfway mark again. Oh, come on, we can do this. There. All right. I can get rid of those bits. I have no idea. If you think of something that you can use those pieces for, that is fine. They are not in your kit. Because, you know, I don't want them, and I'm kind of going with the assumption that you probably don't either. So your card is also scored at this point here. Take that and fold it back and just use your bone scorer. Or, you know, whatever you have handy that might work to just score it. So potentially if you have an ink block, for example, a stamping block, you could actually use, so long as it's clean, you could actually use that just to score. It doesn't have to be a specific bone scorer. They are great, but you don't have to have them. Right. So we are then going to do the complicated part of this card, which is the ribbon. Now, I'm just trying to remember how I did this. I know that I did start off with, and how did I start, at the bottom or the top? Okay, let me look at my notes, because I did jot this down into my notes, I'm sure. All right, what did I put? Next one, attach the ribbon inside the bottom piece of your card. Right, so you want to attach it inside the bottom of your card first. And there was a reason behind this. Okay, pop it in so that it doesn't show when you have it closed. Does that make sense? So you're just going to put a tiny bit of maybe stamping seal just onto there, and then you close your card up and you start your threading process. So in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flame the edge of this very slightly so that it's not going to fray on me constantly. I'm really sorry I didn't do that to your pieces either, but if you happen to have a flamethrower handy, then feel free. And you are just going to go ahead and start threading through. Oh, sounds like the bin man's here. Oopsies. Okay, you really do want it so that it is flat all the way through. Okay, feel like I'm getting into a rhythm. Or not. There we go. So your ribbon will probably be a little bit longer than you actually need. And there we go. So let's just persuade that up. So that is what it will look like on the front and the back. Well, that's the back, that's the front. Then the reason that you have gone from the bottom to the top is because there's a little bit more space in the top here. So you then want to trim off your ribbon and persuade it up a little bit. Add a little bit of adhesive to this, and you're just going to pop that piece of ribbon back into there. So maybe just use your scissors or your take your pick tool just to persuade that piece of ribbon inside there, and that is now going to be fine. The other thing you can do after that is you grab your liquid glue and you are just going to run a little line down there. I'm just going to move that along with my finger because I don't want it squeezing out all over the place. And then pop that down. And you have then successfully done your little bit of ribbon weaving. Let's call it ribbon weaving. That sounds really nice, doesn't it? Oh, how delightful. Bit of ribbon weaving. Okay. I'm feeling really accomplished. I hope you are as well. Right, so then, now the rest of the card is really simple. Okay, you're going to be adding a bit of glue to the back of your little strip here. Oopsies. Come on. Now, I actually am not sure whether I cut these to the right length. They should be the exact length of your card, but I've got a feeling that some of them may be a little bit longer. If you do have one that's a little bit longer, just make sure that when you are attaching this piece on, that it starts off at the top and goes down to the bottom, and you cut off the bottom, and the same with the next one if that is the case. So let's see, this should then stick onto here. I'm just going to use my, go back to my snail adhesive for this one. And you want to have, so you can see a little tiny gap there. So you kind of want to have a sort of similar-ish gap, because anything that's on this side is going to get covered up. So there we go. If yours is slightly longer, allow it to be at the top or the bottom and just trim off the excess. There we go. How pretty is that paper? Oh my gosh, I just love it. It's so nice. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is these pieces here, you're actually going to cut them into thirds. So chop it at the bottom, and then it's approximate, okay? It doesn't matter if it's not exactly a third. I have a very good eye for these things, but even I'm not perfect. And the same on this one, so go to approximately the middle, and then you've got that piece, and then you've got that piece. So as I say, it really doesn't matter if it's not a full third. Okay, now what did I say to do first? Okay, add the top and the bottom gold pieces first and then fill in with the tungsten pieces. Now, these should have sticky backs on them. We shall see. Oh yes, look, yay. Okay, bonus. All right. So now I think if we go halfway, that's sad. Okay, we are, so you want to have it so that it comes to the point down the bottom. Oh, hello. That's probably needs to come a wee bit more in. Doesn't matter if it goes over the edge, but you do want it so that it comes to that point there. Okay, and then do the top one. Come on, over you go. There it is. Same thing again. You want that point to go to there, and if you can ideally do it so that, oh come on, so that it comes out to the same distance is probably a good idea. So yeah, if you just measure it up with a ruler or something. There we go. And last one. Actually, no, we won't put that one on just yet. I'm just going to stick that onto my mat there. I will put these ones on next, because I'm just thinking my middle one actually is probably going to cover over the other two. So you've got that one. Come on. So don't dig in when you do this, just sort of like try and brush over the surface, but you're slightly digging in. That was really helpful, wasn't it? Okay, and then we're going to add this one in. Again, we kind of want it about the same sort of place. Bear in mind, it doesn't matter that that's going to be covered over, because it is going to get cut off. So we've then got those two pieces. And if you're thinking how diabolical this is, it's because I designed it. But it does look so pretty when it's done. All right. Now we can trim off the excess from it. So turn your card over and start cutting off these bits. Oh my goodness, and they really stick to your fingers. So then that is what you should end up with at this point. The last bit is to stamp a saying. And I did not, you know, ironically, I did not use the sayings from this set, but I reckon I'm going to go with, so it doesn't matter what saying you use, to be perfectly honest, because it will depend on what you've actually got. However, if you're going to stamp, you do need a stamping block if you have photopolymer stamps. And I have used a bit of Secret C. Oh, shh, it's secret. And I'm going to see you brighten my day. So you don't particularly want a stamp that goes all the way on it, because you're going to be cutting off a little bit of it. Let me grab out my stamping chamois. Oh, look at me, I remembered the name of it today. on stamping chamois. Let's pop it away because we don't want to lose any of them. That would not be good. And then the other thing I have done with this is I've actually just dipped the edges of it. And when it comes to, so you can kind of see that those 3 edges are now done. When it comes to the corners, you can actually just persuade it round the edges a little bit with that. And there it is. So you brighten my day. We're going to pop that up on dimensionals. Not that one, because that one's attached to the back. Oh, yep, good. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're so cute, these tiny dimensionals. And pop that onto there. Hopefully I possibly should have gone slightly further down with it. Let's go about there. You still brighten my day, even if I had to move it. And then trim off the excess. And that is that. So that is card number 2. Congratulations, you have done it. Hopefully that's in the right place. All right, let us put card number 2 away and move on to card number 3. So move everything out of the way again. And we have card number 3. So card number 3 is this one. It does not matter if you open it that way or you choose to open it this way, because I don't actually know that it has a right or a wrong way up, because the pattern of the paper is so gorgeous that, to be honest, it's neither here nor there, whichever way you want to open it. Okay, so in your kit you should have your piece of designer series paper, which is folded appropriately for you. As I say, if you have bought yourself the PDF and you're making this, then the dimensionals are in that PDF. And you should also have those pieces to go into the middle of your card, and a piece like that, and these 2 pieces. So if you have your kit, then I have already pre-folded it for you. And this is how it folds. So let's start with this and this. We are going to pop the white onto the secret C. Again, shh, it's secret. Don't tell anyone. And then pop a bit of blue onto the back of this one. And now this sits into what is going to be the middle of your card. So when you look at your card, you open it up, it sits on this side here. Okay. And it should have a relatively even gap going all the way around it. And I have something tickling the end of my nose. Marvellous. Okay, so that's that. Then you have this little piece. This is now going to go onto the strip that is here. And we are going to use a bit of Tombow or multi-purpose liquid glue, as Stampin' Up like to call it. And that just sits on the end of this piece. So that goes into there. You should probably keep an eye on the time. I just realised I'm supposed to be taking my son to the doctor's at some point as well. So there's that. Then, now, on the back of this one, you're actually going to have it so it sits up a little bit. If you have... Oh, hang on, what have I done with them? If you have these long strips like this, this is what I did use. But if you don't have this, you can actually just use the edge of your dimensionals. So you can cut off some of your dimensional edging and put it on the back of this. I am going to add this piece onto here. And then I need another piece that is maybe about that long, I reckon. Oops. So So we're going to pop that piece onto there too. And I shouldn't have had a little gap there, of course. Nope, Heather. Looks about that sort of size. Let's hope it is. Yeah, that looks good. All right. Nothing like being absolutely accurate with your measurements. It's one of those things with card making, is you can get away with it. So that now then sits back down like that. I honestly don't know why I did it, but I liked the idea of being able to see the designer series paper still behind this. And I'm not really sure it makes a difference if you put it flat, but I just liked it that way. So now on the back of this one, I am kind of hoping that maybe I did add some of the, it looks, yes, I did. Oh, look at me go. Excellent. So you should be able to then peel off, carefully peel off this from the back of here and attach it down onto your blue piece. So there it is. Wow, that was really accurate. I'm very impressed with myself. All right, then the last thing to do with this card is you're going to add this onto here, but bear in mind that you want to be able to open this piece. So I don't know if you can see this behind here. I have put some of my dimensionals just in there. Now, the best way to do this is to bear in mind how far over you want it to go. So you don't want it to go too far that it doesn't tuck, because it's too difficult to tuck, and you don't want it to be too less that it just keeps opening all the time. Hopefully that made sense. So we are going to add some kind of down the middle really, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just take a chunk like this. Potentially if you just turn your card over, or your circle over, you can kind of work out where you want this to sit anyway. So I reckon if I have it sitting about there, and I'm just going to add a few extras. Come on. Down there as well. 2, 3. Okay. Then we can turn it over, pop it down in the middle, and this should then tuck nicely behind there. And it does. Bonus. All right. So that was card number 3. I hope you are feeling very accomplished. And you're probably not going to know this, but I'm going to stop the video because I need to go and take my son to the doctor's and then come back and do the last couple with you. So I'll see you in a moment. Right, so you probably won't have noticed the fact that I have disappeared. I've been away for a bit and now I'm back, and we are going to move on to this card, which is card number 4. So again, what's in the envelope? We have got some, I almost called it string then, ribbon, and I've got one of those. Still not quite sure why I've got that one there. Got one of those. We've got some, we've got 3 lighter coloured, what's the word? Old olive coloured leaves. We've got 1 leaf that is darker like that. That's the mossy meadow colour. We've got some of those, and 1 bronzy coloured leaf, very pretty. Okay, so, and we've also got a background piece, and oh, I just think this is such pretty paper, but we're actually using it that way up. I am going to grab my Secret C back out and just edge my designer series paper. So just by edging it, all I'm doing is dunking the edge of it into the foam pad. So when we move on to the non-foam pads, material pads, it'll be a different way that you edge it. It won't be a dunking anymore. It'll be more of a sort of like drawing it across. Okay, let me just grab my bit of scrap paper, make sure that the edge of that. So the only reason I'm doing that is because you can see that it doesn't dry instantly, and so therefore I want it to dry a little bit faster because I'm patient like that. And then make sure that your card opens the right way round and stick this onto the front of it. Cool. Potentially minus the cap. There we go. So there is a bit of a gap going all the way around this, which apparently was, oh well, that's fine. Which that'll do. Okay, you can sort of see that it does give it a bit of an edge on there. Otherwise, it would sort of like blend in with the white. So quite like that look. Now, what you're going to do with these, I don't know if you can see this, but it's got like the lighter green in behind the darker green bits. So turn that over, and what I've done, these aren't designed to coordinate with this, but they kind of did work. So I just randomly figured I could use them, and you may find that you're having to put it potentially the wrong way up, and we do have to trim a little bit off, but that is fine, it doesn't matter. So I am just going to add a bit of this onto there, and then oh, you can either use, this is possibly not the best way to do it actually, but you can use the the stamping seal to do this job if you want to. I have, just because it's so much quicker, like that. And if you do what I just did, that you rub off the sort of cobwebby bits. So let me show you again. So if I do this, and then you kind of just very lightly rub it, and it gets rid of those sort of cobwebby bits that are in between, but it does leave the sticky on there, so that the next thing that you're sticking down will stick. Feel like that way up maybe. And then this one, again, just gonna get rid of those sort of cobwebby bits and attach that down onto there. And as you can see, it does leave, you know, the odd gap or two, but it's not really anything major. And then all you need to do is just trim this off a little bit. You don't even have to trim it exactly, because you're going to be putting something else over top of it anyway, so it's not going to be shown. So let's get rid of those bits. And you shouldn't really have any bits there that that the glue is showing through. I'm hoping that I'm actually doing this inside of the frame. Sorry if I wasn't. A bit late now, isn't it? Okay, so then the next thing to do is to attach this onto here. So I will actually get out my Tombow to do this. So let's just add a few dots of Tombow onto here. Oh, quite like that. Let's rub off the excess there. Oh, now I feel like I've managed to get glue all over myself. Good job, Heather. All right, so let's attach that down onto our base card. And I have just realised that, in fact, I had put this underneath. It actually does go like that. So let's quickly find a saying to add to it. Sending lots of sunshine. That seems like a really nice saying. Oh. Nope. Nope. Yes. Sending lots of sunshine. Lots and lots. And I shall grab out my Secret C again. Really doesn't matter which colour you actually use to do this, I have to say. Excuse my head. Just want to make sure I'm getting that so it's correct on there. Lovely. Well, that's very nice font, actually. I don't think I've actually used that stamp yet. There you go. Let's give that a bit of a clean off on my chamois. And where did I put it? There it is. Okay. So then we can tuck that underneath there. Sending lots of sunshine, potentially. Yes, so add that first. If you're kind of watching the video and then doing it, then maybe that will work better for you. If you were literally doing it at the same time as me, I'm so sorry. Do yourself a bow. So now I have seen other people do their bows like this. So they do a loop on that side and a loop on that side. And I really struggled trying to do this the other day. I was trying to practice it so I could show you. And then they just fold the loops around themselves like that. And then they ended up with this nice looking bow, which actually isn't too bad. It looks marginally better than it did the other day when I did it. Oh. So then you just adjust your bow down until you are happy with how it looks. There you go. And obviously I'm going to trim it down a wee bit. But before I do that, I'm going to, again, cut out some flowers. So a bit of fussy cutting. Whee. Again, you don't have to be really pedantic with it because a lot of the background is actually white. Admittedly, some of it isn't, but there's a fair bit of white even in the bits that aren't white, if you get my drift. My goodness, I can hear the birds outside. There must be an eagle or a bird of prey or something coming around because the rest of the birds are making a right racket out there. That looks all right. Oh. Haven't heard the chickens start up, so obviously it's not affecting them. That's good. Okay, get rid of that lot. Oh, I was supposed to have a... Oh, that's unfortunate. I've got two blue ones. I thought I was supposed to have a brownie coloured and a blue one. Drat it. Bother. Wonder whether... I wonder whether I should find another one. Or whether I'll just stick to the blue ones for now. Okay, so you then want to decide sort of whereabouts everything is going to sit. I can't remember if this has a sticky back or not, so let's just see. Oh, it does. Look at that. Bonus! Look, it's got a sticky back. So we want to... I reckon that one probably wants to go around about there, in which case maybe... So it really is a case of playing around with it until you are happy with the way that it's going to be sitting. And I think... Where's my... There they are. I think my dimensionals are going to come into this. So let's just attach that down to there, shall we? So I'm not flailing around with a thing on the end of my finger. Bronzy coloured leaf, or a brass, no, what's that? Copper, that's the term I'm looking for. Okay, so I would like that to sit about there. And I kind of figure if I've got it stuck down, then the other things, because it's up on stilts, as it were, up on dimensionals, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to be able to slide everything else in underneath it. So let's just add a bit of to that. Let's pop that one onto there. This one is going to sit just slightly off-centered on that. Nice. And do I want to keep this flat? You know, actually, I think I am going to put that one flat. I have done on the other card, and I think that it probably does work to do that. So let's just do that. And there we go. Oh, and my ribbon. Obviously, I did place it a lot further down this time, because you can see it's in that top part, and I've obviously gone quite way down with it. So you don't have to put your bow on there if you don't want to. You could put it wherever it really suits it. And I am going to trim my bow up. And I realise that I should have gone in this direction with it. That would be right. Let's just... That looks better. I don't need those bits. Oh! And attach that down with a glue dot, which have disappeared on me. Okay, if you don't have glue dots, it is possible to attach it with Tombow. What you need to do is you add your Tombow to where you want it, and you will place it on there, and you'll just leave it there to dry, and it will dry on there. So that just means that I can't pop this into where I have the others, because it'll just have to wait and dry. All right. On to the last card, and then we can do the frame. So this is the last card. Now, I was going to show you with this one. Oh, look, it says circle, no glue. There we go. I obviously haven't put the glue on it. So this one, when I made it up, I originally embossed the ring, heat embossed it. But then I decided that actually it would look way nicer if the ring was shinier. So so I've cut the ring out of copper cardstock. And then you also have a long piece of ribbon. You have yet another one of these. So potentially I might be the only one who ended up with two of those in one of my things. But if you are if you happen to have ended up with more, then, you know, good luck, enjoy using them. And yeah. And I wanted to show you how I cut the cardstock. So as you can see, we've got the back and the front showing, but you don't cut it like that because otherwise it will not work for you. So what you do is you want to have two sides that are exactly the same facing each other. And then you bring in your cutter and you want to go so that the 2 points are exactly on that cutting line. So that you then have 4 pieces like that. So then you can 1, 2, no, that's 3 and 4. So it does have to be cut like that, because if you cut it any other way, it is not going to work, that you can sort of like swap them over and make them look good like this. Well, you know, I think they look good like this. Let's hope you do too, seeing as you are the ones doing it. Okay, let us go ahead and stick these down. It should, in theory, fit exactly over the background. Yikes. That is just a wee bit too far down. Well, that was a bit of luck, wasn't it? There we go, that's a bit better. And the last one. Like that. Okay, somehow I have ended up with that on a bit of an angle, which is not going to matter because it's going to be covered over by ribbon, but it kind of does matter to me that the bottom of it doesn't quite work. So I'm just going to trim up the bottom very slightly. There we go, much happier with that. And then we can pop some of this ribbon round. So just tie it in the middle. And ideally, when you do this, do a reef knot. So it's really hard to explain a reef knot, but it does flatten down if you do a reef knot, which is much nicer than if you do a granny knot and then it sort of like ends up in all different directions. There we go, and then we can trim these pieces. Like that. All right, then now, did I say that I had not put anything onto the no glue on the circle? Right, in that case we need to do this. So I do recall that this one, I put the circle down and then I put the saying down. So hopefully we are right with this. Now then, this sort of sits so that it kind of touches both of those 2 diagonal pieces, and then it just moved on me. Great. One of the joys of having slightly sticky fingers of course, is that everything sticks to them. Okay, let me just rub my fingers off and clean them off. Okay, so I have, with this one, I have actually heat embossed the saying, which, you know, I don't know that it necessarily needs to be heat embossed. You could do if you wanted to. For the sake of the fact that we've been going for a while, I might just go again with my Secret C and pick out a saying from that stamp set. What are we going to do this time? You know, I'd make a really nice baby card. So I wonder whether I say celebrate new beginnings and then find a baby thing. Find something that says welcome baby and put that somewhere else. So maybe I put it up there and then have a welcome baby up the bottom or something like that. We'll see what I can find. I'm going to stick my head into the thing as well, just so that I can hopefully have it straight. There it is. So celebrate new beginnings. Wait. Oh, obviously trying to claim that one. All right, and then this goes flat onto the card. And it just sits inside that circle, like that. And then we're going to cut these two out and stick those on as well. On a positive note, this is the last of the fussy cutting that you need to do. Just in case you're not a big fussy cutter. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. And I'm not the neatest fussy cutter, I will admit. And remember, if you want to, you can always fast forward the video a little bit, or you can stop it wherever, you know, if I'm going too fast with my fussy cutting and there's no way that you're going to keep up, then, you know, feel free to just stop the video when I have finished fussy cutting until you get to the same stage as me. And on a normal video, I confess that I would normally fast forward through this bit. But because people are creating along with me, I'm not going to. Okay, so I now have those two done, and I can pop those two pieces onto there. And as I say, I'm going to find something to go into there. And it could end up just being a bit of bling or something. What have I done with my... There they are. They're hiding. And we are going to... peel the backing off those dimensionals. And that's really pretty. I actually reckon that would make a beautiful baby card. Celebrate new beginnings. Okay, so that is that card. So that was number 5. And then the last thing that we need to do is this. So this doesn't include any stamping. So we can put inks away, we can put the block away, and we are just going to have these bits and this. So in your little bag, there should be a whole heap of little pieces. Pop that to one side. So you should have a piece of this with a piece of white that is exactly the same size because it gives it a little bit more stiffening. Then you should have a frame to go around. You should have, oh, let's just take those pieces out. Should have one that looks like that. You should have one that looks like that, that. So these pieces actually do go together when you're looking at them in the die set. They actually do literally work together. So do those two, but I'm not specifically using them like that in the piece. And then we should have some little gold flowers, a red flower with a gold center, and these little pieces here came out of this, but they also make really nice little leaves, as you can see, for your little flowers there. And then we have our rather spectacular looking ladybird. I just thought it would be rather cool to do him in the pewter sort of colour. And then you should have a frame that looks like this, probably not quite so well folded at this point in time. So, you know, what I'm going to do is just quickly pop some of these bits together. So we're just going to add a little bit of glue to the back of this one. And because I added a bit too much glue there, I am just going to utilize some of that on the back of that. So we got that. Feel like there was a bit too much glue on there as well, actually. And pop our little ladybird together. And I think the rest of it can just be as it is. Let's just pop those bits onto this mat for now, I think. And that one. There we go. Let's rub off the excess glue on there so things don't stick to it. All right, we can move that out of the way. So, okay, so I did start making this and then I discovered that I'd made it wrong. So I am restarting kind of, because I'm actually just going to use the pieces that I already had. So stick these two pieces together. Your white piece, as you can see, I had tried to stick it down and then it didn't work. So yes, I am not going to show you that example because I don't want you copying it. So you will have all your little pieces like this, that hopefully I've managed to get it at the video where you've already put those pieces together and you put them to one side. I know this was in the middle of doing the bit that I did wrong, so just attach this piece to your white piece and pop that to one side. And then now you look at your frame and you want to just go ahead and score down all the pieces of your frame, so all the score lines. Wait, come on. So the flaps, you can leave those straight and just score like that. So we got that. then the last one. Again, leave those two flaps straight because they don't need to be bent. Okie dokie. So the bit that I did wrong last time was that I tried to put this in after I'd put the frame together. Don't do it that way. So take note from my mistake. Do not do that. Put it in now, which is actually what I wrote in the instructions. So clearly I should have read my own instructions before I did this. Okay. So you want to make sure that this is going to sit kind of in the middle. So just aim as much for the middle as you possibly can and you'll be good with it. Okay. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're now going to stick these side pieces down. So what you're going to do is you're just going to flatten it down like that. Add glue just to this very end flap here. Whoopsies. Hopefully not to anything else. And if you fold it down like that, it may not fold exactly flat, but you should still be able to persuade it to stay down. So you can fold it in both directions. You can fold it this way. As you can see with mine, it's not laying completely flat, and you can fold it this way. Actually does lay completely flat that way. Don't know why it doesn't the other way. Who knows, but it doesn't really matter because that it's not going to be lying flat once you've got it all together. And you really don't want to get glue into the middle of your frame. Oh, seriously, Heather? Once again, take note of my mistake. And again, lie that one down. Again, mine is not lying flat on that direction, but I bet it does this way. No, it doesn't do it that way either. That's fine. Just hold it down there just for a moment or two while that glue settles and sticks. And then you should have these two pieces that just look like little boxes on the sides there. Then we're going to move on to the end pieces. And again, you just want to add a little bit of glue onto this flap there. Now, if you squish these guys outwards, you can then turn that in. Oopsies. Persuasion. And persuade that to sit down there. When it sits up, you'll find that it works well. But obviously it needs a little bit more holding there for a moment. Maybe a little further. Just talk amongst yourselves, as they say, while this glue decides to set. There we go. Turn it round and do the same thing again. And again, you can flatten those side pieces down, and it does give you the option, you know, if you flatten the side pieces down nicely, then you can just hold on to it there while the glue sets. Just don't over glue because you don't really want the glue squeezing out the edges. And there we have it. Now you can sort of see that the reason that I've left these side pieces on is in order to hold this in place. So just pop a little bit of glue onto there, and then you can just pop that one down onto there, and it will hold it in place for you. It will hold it in place once the glue sets. As I noticed, it was just trying to get out of there. Let's just do the same on this one. So make sure that you sit the side up before you flap that piece down. And then, oh, come on, we can do this. And ironically, if you do have a bit of excess glue on this part, it's not going to matter because the frame is going to cover it. Don't really recommend having too much glue on it, but there we go. Let's just keep it all together there for a moment. All right, that is looking good. Now, your frame may be exactly right, or it may be slightly out. So in this particular case, again, I'm finding that it's not quite exactly how I would want it to be. So what I have done in this case is I've literally just done a diagonal snip on this side and then taken a different place to do a diagonal snip on this side. And then you just have this, I think it's rather nice, the tiniest little gap between them. As you can see, that's what I've got on these ones. Also, if you are discovering that for some reason your frame is well and truly out of whack and you've actually got, you know, this is kind of like sitting like this or whatever, you can do the same thing on these pieces as well and just piece it together. But I'm quite happy with that. So I wonder if I stick those down first. It really doesn't matter which way around you do things, but seeing as these are all on top of my glue mat and I want my glue mat for this part, I'm going to add my bits and pieces into it before I put my frame piece around. All right, what do I want where? So I want that down the bottom here, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to that and stick that one down. And same with this one, just a little bit of glue. As you'll notice, I'm only putting glue kind of like down the bottom of the leaves. And the reason for that is because I actually do want the sort of top of the leaves to be a little bit looser and so they sort of flap out a wee bit. And then I've got these, I'm going to add this up on dimensionals. Actually, just the one dimensional I think will be enough. And then if I pop that one, whoopsies, down like that, then I reckon that these ones should be able to just sit underneath it. And I could just persuade that underneath. And the same with this one. Let's just see if I can persuade a bit of the, I might need a wee bit more than that. Pull that up and tuck that underneath there. Okay, and we've got this little guy. 1, 2, 3, I might even give him 4. 2, 3, 4. Pop that up there. And these ones, kind of want to add a little, so if I just add a little bit like that, and then take one of these leaves, and I'm just going to attach it onto the back like this, so that when you turn it over, you have a little flower with the leaf attached. So you should have plenty of these because they all came off this leaf here, and you only have 3 flowers, so there's way more leaves on that leaf than there is flowers. that one there, I think. Oops. In you go. And those leaves you actually don't need. So it's up to you whether you want to sort of like scatter a few more leaves over the background. I'm not going to. I am just going to go with these, and then these get stuck down. So let's one. Come on. Two. Oh yeah, don't attach yourself to my finger, please. And let's go that way. There we have it. Okay, now I have my glue mat back. Now I can use this. Let's just give it a quick clean off. This is the most effective way I find of cleaning my glue mat, is literally just running my finger along it, and then what I do is I just rub my hands together, and the glue kind of not really magically disappears. I'd like to say it does, but it doesn't really. It still feels slightly tacky, but it's not full-on gluey. So then now it's just a case of popping your frame on. Oh, come on, let's move it down. Oh, I'll move it into the frame. And there it is. And hopefully by now, yep, glue has dried on that one. Do you remember how we had to attach that one with Tombow because I didn't have any glue dots around? So I'm sure that there are some somewhere, but I'm not going to show you what the rest of my desk looks like because you don't want to see it. So you can see that it doesn't matter which way round you do your little cuts on it, it will still look really good. And that, as they say, is that. So I really hope that you have enjoyed making all these. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put into my blog post. I'm probably just going to put pictures of these. I can't remember if I've already done a blog post on it or not. So if I haven't, then I'm probably going to put pictures of these up. And if I have, then I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. Okay, so if you have played along with me, I would love to see what you created. So please do send me photos. And yeah, let me know whether you enjoyed it, whether you think we should do something different next time. And if you are just watching, let me know what you think of it, whether you would like to be part of my next Create Along class, which is going to be in June. And then, like I said, I've actually set up now on my blog a place for you to be able to purchase the PDFs for some of my classes. So yeah, let me know if you're interested in buying one of those, or potentially just go and buy one. That's even better. Okay, take care. Thank you so much for joining me. See you next Saturday. Bye.